And there, on the door handle of the car, was a bloody hook.
Oh, come on. A bloody hook, everybody
It's a
knows.
classic.
I've got one better for you.
Oh, really?
It deals with a car and a bridge.
Sounds like an urban legend. Today on the show. Thirteen.
13.
13. The
Lucky,
number
lucky
13, my
13.
lucky number as well. And 13 weeks from today, it'll be our favorite day of the year.
Halloween.
So last week we started something that we're calling 13 weeks, which was the 13 weeks leading up to the week of Halloween. So not up to Halloween itself, but the week of. This is week number 2.
Yep. And we're doing something pretty cool. We're going through and we're talking about the 50 states, either their cryptid or an urban legend.
Yeah.
So we've got 3 knocked out already.
We got
3.
Alaska, California, and Missouri.
Yep. So this week we're going to take another little virtual road trip.
Yeah.
So
Come
sit
on,
back,
guys.
come along with
Hey.
us. Where are we going first,
We're
Spook?
going down to Mississippi.
Mississippi.
Back in the 1950s, an outbreak allegedly hit a small town in Mississippi that they're calling the Mercritis disease. The name of the city was promptly covered up by the government, however.
No, that's not
Yeah.
got a conspiracy written all over it.
No, not at all. Basically, what happens is several men in the town who had consumed too much lead, so I guess they're chewing on paint chips or pencils
Or something. Yeah.
Once they have contracted the disease, they put off a pheromone or something to that effect that causes women around them to go homicidal.
Homicidal?
Yeah. So, like, if you are emitting that pheromone, then women will try to kill you. And so basically, all of the men were kind of wiped out one by one until it came down to one guy remaining. That man was then chased out of town into a freezing river where all the women chased him into the water. Everybody froze and drowned. And
End of disease.
And then the government covered it all up.
A government conspiracy.
Yeah. So, I mean, where does one like that one come from? I mean, obviously there's no records of it ever happening.
True.
There's no instance of the disease before or after. So,
how do we verify that?
did like all the men in the town just suddenly disappear in the 1950s, and so they just blamed it on some disease?
I got
that
it.
was then
I
covered
got
up
it.
by that's kind of a.
Aliens. Oh, I don't know. It just, you know.
Oh no,
That's
kind of a weird one.
That's a
But,
weird
but
one.
hey, most urban legends are. So
Yeah, I know. That's pretty funny.
Take me down.
We're gonna go a little further east, over to Florida, Port St. Lucia. Reportedly, there's a park called Whispering Pines in Florida, and it's home to the Devil Tree. The Devil Tree is a big, tall oak tree, apparently, where bodies of some slain girls were buried after they were raped, tortured, and killed. Apparently, the tree has been tried to be cut down multiple times, and you know every time it does,
refuses to be cut down.
well, no, it actually does. It goes on to say, if you try to do it with chainsaw train breaks, or the engine fails.
Of course.
They tried to do it with a 2-man crosscut saw. The tree shaved the teeth off of the saw. They've even tried to burn this tree, guys, and the tree laughed at it.
And then it ate Charlie Brown's kite.
Oh, it's the horrible. It's the worst part of it.
I know.
Locals passed along a story of cold spots in certain areas around the park, and the park's ladies' bathroom being haunted by the dead girls. And in 1992, a priest placed a cross at the base of the oak to perform an exorcism. And in 1994, the cross was knocked over.
Oh, 2 years
2
later.
whole years later, not like,
That tree is evil.
There couldn't have been, like, I don't know, a
Someone
hurricane or
kicked it?
storm, or somebody kicked it.
Or it just fell.
So
2 years.
Again-
If it was like right away, then I'd be like, okay, that could be something kind of. 2 years.
yeah, I mean, what's to say
Dude,
that
2
this-
years ago we planted this thing and it fell over today.
Oh my god!
Scary!
Scary stuff. I mean, what's to say
Really?
that, you know, that tree didn't grow around like a pipe or a fence post, and when they got into it, that's where they broke the chainsaw.
Or who's to say that people just didn't make up these stories?
Oh,
and,
well,
and-
that's the key to urban legends, right?
Well, yeah. But, you know, what confuses me, though, is that Florida also has the Devil's Chair urban legend.
It does.
So, what's the deal with the devil in Florida? The devil went down to Florida. He was looking
Where
for... Oh,
are the Outback Steakhouses in Florida?
is that the home office of Outback Steakhouse? Watch yesterday's
watch
episode if you want to know what we're talking about. But I'm going to jump up to Fairfax County, Virginia. And this is actually one of my favorite urban legends out there, the Bunny Man.
Hippity hoppity bunny man.
Not that kind of bunny man.
What?
Oh, in 1970, this is when this is all kind of started out here. Basically, it jumps back to a colony extensively researched the Bunny Man, or what? Yeah. Located 2 incidents. The first incident was reported the evening of October 19th, 1970 by U.S. Air Force Academy cadet Robert Bennett and his fiancée, who were visiting relatives. After midnight, while returning from a football game, they reportedly parked their car to visit an uncle who lived across the street from where the car was parked. They sat in front of the blah, 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 blah. Basically, long story short, there is a tunnel in Fairfax County that is believed to be the Bunny Man was a killer, basically. The versions of the legendary, they vary on the Bunny Man's names, motives, his weapons, his victims, all sorts of different things. But basically, a man wearing a bunny costume will sometimes either scare people or even sometimes kill them in this tunnel.
So wait, he's not delivering eggs?
No.
Oh, I'm so disappointed. He's not made out of chocolate, is he?
He's not made of chocolate that I know of. But said to come out of his place of death each year on Halloween. So not even on Easter. So I mean, the whole thing just doesn't make any sense.
No, it kind of just depicts about let's tell a tale of to keep kids from parking.
Yeah,
remember parking back in the day?
Yeah. Well, and it always seems like if there's a creepy tunnel or a creepy bridge, that there's always going to be some story with it that's either don't park your car and turn it off or it won't restart and then you'll end up dead.
Speaking of bridges, I've got one from Alabama. Alabama called Hell's Gate Bridge.
Hey, that's a great name for a
rumor
bridge.
says that a young couple once lost their lives driving off the bridge. The bridge's pleasant name comes from local legend that states on certain nights, if you stop your car and turn around, you'll gaze right into the pits of hell itself.
Road trip?
Road trip.
Yeah.
The bridge has been closed off to traffic for the last few years, but still attracts a great number of curious people. Located in Oxford, Alabama. It's best known as Hell's Gate Bridge. During the 50s, so we're back in the 50s. The young couple's car drove off the bridge in the water below and blah, blah, blah. Due to safety concerns, local officials are using cement blocks to block off Hell's Gate. The haunted bridge still receives visitors on foot, but because the bridge is old and falling apart, walking across it is not recommended, as is all these scary places. As late as 2007, the Oxford Paranormal Society held an investigation, and they found, guess what they found? No evidence of paranormal activity.
Oh, that's a shame.
It still is a cool story, though.
Well, yeah. Well, most of them are great stories, and that's how they become urban legends.
Yeah, that's how they become urban legends.
I mean, there's usually no reality behind them. Otherwise, they'd be real and not be an urban legend.
That's basically how it goes.
And it's cool because we're actually getting kind of the new generation. Urban legends are kind of making a comeback in the form of creepypastas, but which I hate the name, but it's just cool that there's new urban legends being born. Now, what would be something fun to do sometime would actually be looking at some of the more famous urban legends, like Bunny Man, some other ones and stuff like that. Which I found a lot of where where it all comes from, but it's too long to read. So we'll put the link down in the description below, and you guys can just go check it out for yourself. But what would be fun is to look at some of the more popular urban legends and the story that actually led led to them becoming an urban legend. So that could be something.
That could be something to look
for
the
future after Halloween.
After Halloween, definitely after Halloween. But that's going to wrap it up for our Tuesday.
Yeah. So if you guys got what's your favorite urban legend, maybe we'll hit on it before we're done here. We still got quite a ways to go. We're jumping back and forth.
A lot of states left.
Yeah, jumping back and forth between urban legends and cryptids and. We'll be back next week with a few more cryptids and only hitting each state once. Now, we forgot to mention this yesterday, and I meant to, but we have a retraction from last week. If you guys had watched Friday's episode where we did the Star Wars Challenge, there was some misunderstanding in one of the questions. I dropped kind of a comment on the screen there when it happened, but just going to go into a little more further detail. Danny and I actually tied that challenge. the question was how much was Star Wars made for, and they were saying it was 300 million. It's very rare
rarely.
that a movie gets made for 300 million nowadays.
Yeah.
The original Star Wars was made between 11 and 14 million dollars. Adjusted for inflation, it would only come out to about 40 million today. The misunderstanding there was coming from the trivia section of IMDb that it was the first movie to make 300 million in the box office. So we tied.
Yeah,
so,
we tied.
Yeah, there you have it.
So it's time to wrap it up. So
Yeah.
you do the things for the Facebook, the Instagram, and the Twitter.
Yeah.
Do the YouTubes, the liking, the sharing, the subscribing, the commenting.
Don't forget the sharing and subscribing.
Yeah, that's important. The sharing and subscribing.
Yeah.
Give us a thumbs up. You like the video? Hit that little bell that lets you know when we
Ring-a-ding.
upload something.
Yeah.
It's great.
And check us out tomorrow for our favorite day of the week. Until then,
Hey guys, this is Ashley Berry from Springfield, Missouri, and this is your Russian clip of the day.
Так я не об этом. Почему без закуски? Ну это другое дело.